There is an animal alive right now that has cracked the code of immortality. Not metaphorically, not philosophically, biologically. And the wildest part? It looks like a tiny, pulsing blob of living gelatin, smaller than your pinky nail. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to understand how one creature rewrote everything scientists thought they knew about aging, death, and what it even means to be alive. And we're going to hit something near the end that might genuinely change the way you think about the future of human medicine. Let's start with the basics, because the science here is stranger than any science fiction. Meet Turritopsis dohrnii. It's a jellyfish, a tiny, almost translucent one, native to the warm waters of the Mediterranean Sea. Under a microscope, it looks almost impossibly delicate, a little bell-shaped dome fringed with up to 90 tentacles, with a bright red stomach you can see right through its body. It's beautiful in that eerie, alien way that deep-sea life tends to be. Now, every other animal on Earth, every single one, follows the same biological script. You're born, you grow, you age, you die. That's it. That's the deal. Evolution wrote that contract billions of years ago, and nothing has found a way out of it. Except this jellyfish. Turritopsis dohrnii has the ability to reverse its own aging process completely. When it's stressed, starving, physically damaged, or just getting old, it can essentially hit rewind on its own life cycle and transform itself back into its juvenile state, back to the beginning. And then it grows up again. And if it needs to, it can do it again and again. Theoretically, forever. Scientists call this process transdifferentiation, and here's why that word matters. Normally, cells in your body are locked into their jobs. A muscle cell is a muscle cell. A nerve cell is a nerve cell. They don't switch. But Turritopsis dohrnii cells, when triggered, can revert to a completely undifferentiated state and then rebuild themselves into something entirely different. It's like taking a fully cooked meal and somehow turning it back into raw ingredients. That should not be possible. And yet, here's an open question worth sitting with for a minute. If an animal can genuinely reset its own biology, what does that mean for the concept of death? Is it the same individual that comes back, or a new creature wearing the old one's DNA? Scientists are still arguing about this. We'll come back to that. Now, you might be wondering, if this jellyfish can live forever, why isn't the ocean just absolutely carpeted wall-to-wall in Immortal Jellyfish? Great question. The answer is brutal and tells you something important about the difference between biological immortality and actual survival. Turritopsis dohrnii can still be eaten. It can still be killed by pollution, disease, or a predator that doesn't care how genetically special it is. Immortality doesn't mean invincibility.
It just means the clock never runs out on its own. The ocean is a dangerous place, and even the immortal get eaten. But here's where the story gets even bigger. Scientists first discovered the jellyfish's bizarre ability in the 1980s, but for years it was treated as a curiosity, a weird footnote in marine biology. Then, in 2022, a team of researchers at the University of Oviedo in Spain published a landmark genetic study in the journal PNAS. They mapped the full genome of Turritopsis dohrnii and compared it against a closely related mortal species. And what they found was extraordinary. The immortal jellyfish has unique mutations in genes related to DNA repair, protection against cellular stress, and the maintenance of telomeres. Now, telomeres are the protective caps on the ends of your chromosomes. Think of them like the plastic tips on shoelaces. Every time a cell divides, those caps get a little shorter. When they run out, the cell can't divide anymore. That's aging. That's the timer ticking down. Turritopsis dohrnii's genome appears to have a way of keeping those caps intact, of resetting the timer. This is where things get genuinely mind-bending, because those same genes, the DNA repair genes, the telomere maintenance genes, they exist in humans too. Not in the same form, not with the same function, but the raw genetic ingredients, they're there. Which means that understanding exactly how this jellyfish does what it does could someday unlock something profound about the biology of human aging. Researchers aren't talking about making humans immortal. To be clear, that's science fiction territory for now. But slowing aging, repairing cellular damage, treating age-related diseases like cancer and neurodegeneration, that is where the real scientific excitement lives. And Turritopsis dohrnii is sitting right at the center of that conversation. Here's the fun tangent you didn't see coming. Remember how I said this jellyfish is native to the Mediterranean? Well, it's not anymore. Because of ballast water in cargo ships, ships that suck up seawater in one port and release it in another, Turritopsis dohrnii has been hitchhiking across the entire planet. It has now been found in oceans from Japan to Panama to the coast of Spain. Scientists call it a biologically immortal global colonizer, an immortal creature that's also somehow become an invasive species. You genuinely cannot make this up. So let's bring this home. We started with a creature smaller than your fingernail. We learned it can reverse its own aging through a cellular process that breaks the rules of biology as we understood them. We saw that even immortality doesn't protect you from a predator's mouth. And we landed on a genomic discovery that's putting this tiny jellyfish at the frontier of aging research. But here's the thought I want to leave you with, the one that's been quietly building this whole time.
The answer to whether a jellyfish that reverses its life cycle is truly the same individual or something brand new. Scientists lean towards yes, it is the same organism, continuous and unbroken, because its DNA, its identity, its cellular lineage never stops. It doesn't die and get reborn. It just refuses to end. There is a creature in the ocean right now that has been doing this, cycling through life and back again, possibly for thousands of years, living through ice ages, through mass extinctions, through the entire rise of human civilization in quiet little pulses beneath the waves. That is not just a wild animal fact. That is a mirror held up to every assumption we have about what life is supposed to look like. So here's your question for the comments. If you could hit rewind on your own life and start over with everything you know now, would you? Or is the fact that it ends what makes it worth having? Drop your answer below. I read every single one. And if this video cracked something open in your brain, smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss a fact that makes you question everything you thought you knew about this planet.